My name is Carina Gardner, and I'm what you would call a practical designer. If you're ready to create a life that you love, become an incredible force for good, and generate income while pursuing your dreams, this is the podcast for you. Welcome to Make and Design. Hey there, designers. So today, my audio might sound a little weird because I'm having to do this podcast via my phone, which I normally don't do. I usually do it on a microphone in my office. But today, I'm doing it almost like I do my Design Your Life podcast, which I don't know if any of you are on that, but there's quite a few people on that. And that particular episode, it's a paid podcast. It's exclusive, and I talk a lot about insider scoops and what's really going on in my business and my life and design trends and all of that. Anyway, I usually do that. It has no intro, it has no outro, and I do that from my bedroom because it's just more comfortable and I can talk about things that I really want to talk about. Not that I don't talk about things I don't love here, but it's a little more personal. Anyway, if you want to check out that podcast or you've been wondering about it, if you go to CarinaGardner.com/design events, or if you go to CarinaGardner.com and just click on events at the top, you'll find it in there and you can get part of that exclusive inside look. Okay, so today, what I wanted to talk about is how to download your creative ideas. And the reason I decided to talk about this is because I just finished our new methodology for creative innovations and color theory class, which is coming out at the University of Arts and Design Business. So it's one of our newest classes, and there's actually 4 versions of this class. It's a little bit crazy. One version is for digital technology for the design certificate, and it incorporates AI, and it's really fun. It also talks about visual thinking, which is with Temple Grandin, and then the Artist's Way. The second version of the class is our 205 class, and that is for visual artists. And that class is all, for those of you who in Design Suites, Creativity Revitalized, but it's basically like teaching people how to move their physical artwork directly into digitized formats that are marketable. And that class has this book called The Art of You by James McCrae. And this particular book is one of the reads for that class. Now, I said there are 4 versions. There are master's degree versions also. So I have 2 that are design certificate versions, and then we have ones for the master's degree. So if you're in the visual arts portion of it, there is a lecture in there called The Art of You, and it's on this book. So he talks about how there are ways to download creative ideas, which I think is a really interesting way to put things. We don't usually think about downloading creative ideas into our brain, but that's the language that he uses here on this. And so I thought we could talk about this today because it's really cool. He has 10 ways that you can download creative ideas. And if you're in a rut or you've been blocked recently, I think this might help you really think about how to get unblocked. Of course, I recently talked about the Artist's Way and about creative block and how Julian Cameron talks about making some changes, but this is a different version of that. And if you're feeling like you need some unblocking or you feel like you want to take your creativity to the next level, this might be a really good starting place for you. Okay, so one of the first things he says is that the best ideas he has very seldom come to the conscious mind, which I agree with him on. I think about all my best ideas and how they come from being in the shower or right before I wake up in the morning. I've been like mulling over something and thinking about it, which, by the way, another great book, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Fantastic. Will give you some ideas about the way you process things in your sleep. But anyway, it's usually from our unconscious thoughts or subconscious thoughts that we get these great ideas, right? And so he's talking about how to help activate that imagination. So the first thing he says you need to do, and this is number 1, I'm going to give you guys 10 today, is to calm your nervous system. And he says that imagination starts in the body. And I agree with him on this. So like if you are you've either overstimulated your nervous system or you are anxious about a lot of things, it's very difficult to then let your subconscious go to work. So he says that our energy and nerves have a direct impact on our thoughts. And he says you need to take time to create a calm and relaxing environment. Now, this is hard for anyone who has kids at home, maybe aging parents you're taking care of, or any number of other things that maybe make you anxious in your daily life. So trying to create a calm environment is sometimes very difficult. And I will tell you, for me in particular, I have 3 kids at home. We have 3 animals. My husband's at home. So it's just a myriad of stuff going on all the time. Everybody's in and out, and it's busy and it's crazy. And so it's really hard for me to find a spot that's quiet. I mean, at this moment, I am hiding in my bedroom, okay? Because there's just a lot of craziness happening in my house at the moment. And so I will do different things to find that calm. I have some religious practices that allow me to go places where I can have a little bit of quiet and peace. I just recently, this happened this last week, but my little sisters were in town and we booked a head massage place and we went and did that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I needed that so badly. Just the quiet. I will go and find places in nature to sit and either do morning pages or my dream journaling to find some quiet. And sometimes I will do it in my backyard. Not at this moment because my backyard's under construction, but my backyard's usually actually a fantastic place for this kind of thing. So calm your nervous system. Number 2 is clear your mental clutter. And this goes along with calming your nervous system and finding great environments, but too much information leaves no space for inspiration, he says. Imagination is found in the clear sky above the clouds of the cluttered mind. That's why meditation and mindfulness are huge benefits to the creative process. Still waters run deep, so does a still mind. And I will say that I think this is part of why I love Julia Cameron's artist pages, your morning pages that you do, because the goal is to kind of get rid of some of that clutter. But whatever else you can do to clear your mental clutter is huge. I think I spoke on the Design Your Life podcast about how sometimes at night I'm still thinking about the to-do list, what my team needs to do, with the design work we need to get done, workshops that we're teaching, and my mind won't stop. And so I am personally working on this, trying to find ways to get rid of the mental clutter and finding some peace in there. I think that is a really powerful thing for long life, longevity. And anyway, I love this. All right, so more on how to download creative ideas. Number 3 is give your ego a different job. And he says the ego is not bad. It's only trying to help. But judgment and criticism can hinder imagination. Instead of surpassing the ego's need for control, make a deal with it. Tell the ego that it will have a chance to inspect or edit once you're finished. The details come last. The ego is great with details. And I think this is, a lot of us get caught up with perfectionism, and this really has to do with ego. Because we're caught up with that perfectionism, we don't let things just happen and give ourselves the time and the space to download that those creative ideas so that we have impact. Number 4 is ask the universe a question. And this book, I will say, this does a great job of inquiring and helping you develop curiosity. I think that curiosity is one of the key components of creativity, and often we are not going in and seeking that as much as we should. So ask the universe a question. And I kind of love this because sometimes I don't lay it all out there. And I think the more we lay it out there, the more vulnerable we are, the more likely we are to receive creative inspiration. All right, number 5 is to suspend your disbelief. So imagination includes a certain element of fantasy. And it's so interesting because recently I have been reading a lot more fantasy books. Now, of course, I read a lot of nonfiction literature, especially as I'm lecturing or teaching classes. But recently I have been digging into almost like all the young adult or young teen like fantasy dramas I've been reading off my daughter's bookshelf and just enjoying myself so much. And there are some elements there that allow me to kind of open up and, well, first of all, just find joy and excitement because I love this kind of writing. And it allows me also to dream a little bit that's a little bit different that I don't do in my nonfiction reading. I like seeing a story unfold. I like seeing what a hero is doing. And it reminds me often of my own designers or my own design journey and what I'm trying to accomplish. And it's a really beautiful thing. So I love this idea of suspending your disbelief. He says when it comes to imagination, it's okay to believe in the impossible, which is a really beautiful thing. All right, number 6, halfway there, guys. Number 6 is listen to the space between your thoughts. Do you feel like your thoughts take over a lot of what you're doing during the day? I know mine does. It's thought after thought after thought after thought. And I think that if there is a way to listen to the space between the thoughts, that there is a lot of room for creativity. This is what he says about it. Imagine is not about imposing your own ideas. It's about allowing ideas to come to you. Instead of listening to your thoughts, try tuning your awareness into the empty space between your thoughts. Let your mind float up to the sky, far away. When your intuition speaks, it will be soft, like a whisper. Try to sense with your full body instead of only thinking with your brain. He does this a lot in this book, like kind of feeling with your body versus just using your thoughts. And I think this is a really cool thing. Number 7 is trust what comes through. How many of us have a great idea and we dismiss it immediately? Well, if we're going to really be downloading lots of creative thoughts, then we should be admiring and checking in with all of those thoughts. It doesn't mean we do all of those thoughts, but we don't just immediately dismiss them. I talk about this in Design Suite. This is what I call a parked board. Very often we have a parked board in our company where things that we want to do or ideas that we have or creative brainstorming that we have will end up directly in that Monday.com board. And for you, it might end up in a Trello board or in a notebook, but keep all those thoughts. You never know when you're going to circle back around to it. This is so interesting because I just finished writing our agenda for our team retreat. Our team is getting together in Garden City at my lake house in August. And one of the sessions I have is a brainstorming session. And all we're going to do is talk about and think about all the good ideas that are possible in our company and how we can help our students. That's a pretty powerful thing. And I think letting all of those creative thoughts through is pretty awesome. And then trusting in them, okay? Number 8, hold the vision in your mind. Now, we know the power of vision, and especially a very detailed, specific vision. So if you can hold those visions in your mind, you can imagine how powerful that would be. This is what he says about it. In the early stages of conception, ideas are fickle. You can blink and they're gone. It's important to nurture your imagination by holding on to your ideas tightly. If you have a vision of something you want to create, hold the vision in your mind until it comes into higher and higher clarity. And if you think about this, think about we could do an exercise right now. If you are like, oh my gosh, I really want to go on vacation to a beach location, okay? And even as I'm talking, think if you can imagine this in your head. You can see yourself sitting, you see a glass in your hand. There's maybe something pink or red in that glass, and then there's something like a lime in it. You can see the chair and how comfy it is. Your feet are in the sand. You can wiggle in it. You can hear the waves coming at you. How many of you were able to envision that pretty clearly? I know I can. It's so crazy. It's so clear. I can even see a dock to the side where people are walking out. I can see the blue sky and then fluffy white clouds up in the sky. I can feel it. I can feel the heat coming down. I can feel the sunglasses on my face. right? The more high clarity that vision is, the easier it is to figure out how to make it happen. Now, I did that with a scene, but we should be doing that with all creative endeavors that we're working on. Our artistic endeavors, like the things we're drawing, the things we're painting, the things we're making or crafting, all of those things are really powerful. All right, number 9 is to let go of expectations. So this is what he says about this. Creativity requires a delicate balance of holding on and letting go. At a certain point, once the vision has become firmly planted in that subconscious, it's important to drop attachments to any specific outcome. This is really hard, right? Because the moment we come up with it, we're like, okay, so this is going to happen. We've attached our outcomes already to it. Letting go of expectations frees you to act and create in the moment, which is where the magic happens. And in watercolor, we call this happy accidents, right? Like things that happen, you're trying to paint a flower and suddenly there's a big squish of water and color in a totally different direction. You didn't mean for it to go, and it ends up looking magical. It's exactly what needed to happen on that painting. And so letting go of expectations can be a really powerful thing. And we're going to end with number 10, which is to dwell in gratitude. So I'm so grateful he ended on this one because I think this is really powerful. Living in gratitude will help you attract things in your life. I know this for a fact. I have a gratitude practice every day. If you ever want to hear about my morning routine, it might be a couple of years ago, back in January at this point, but I have a gratitude practice I do every day, and it really helps me get back on track. Imagine he says this, imagine that your creative project is already finished. It's been launched into the world. How do you feel? Are you relieved, excited, thankful? Find the feeling now and carry it with you throughout the creative process. What he's really telling you here is find the internal motivation. How many of us feel unmotivated because we can't see the vision for what we're trying to do anymore? We've gotten lost along the way. This happens to me all the time, especially when I'm digging into details. I'm always in the details of my business. I like to see what's going on. I even like to see how everything's being organized and managed. And when that happens, it is so important that you remember why you're doing it to begin with. And so if you can dwell in the gratitude, then it's going to open up your heart to more things, more abundance, more that's out there for you, and definitely that big fat creativity download that needs to come into your brain. Hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully you really enjoyed it. I am loving creating all of this new coursework that we are putting into our program at the University of Arts and Design Business, and it's been really, really fun. If you want to learn more about it or hear about our, oh my gosh, I just looked today at our enrollment, and we have a very limited number of spots left, way earlier than I was expecting, so there is a chance we will open up another class if we have enough interest in it, but we've already filled 1.5 classes, basically. So we have a few spots left. If you're interested in that, you can apply at uadb.education if you want to look into that. We have a boot camp coming up though. So if you want to come, we are back to live boot camps, new content, new material. You can sign up at designsuitecourses.com/design bootcamp. And you can come hang out with me for a week, ask me questions. And we're really excited for what this next year is going to look like in Design Suite. We have kind of the fall set of orientations coming up, and we're really digging into what we're seeing in the economy, how we're making changes, what's trending, and I'm just really proud of the Design Suite members and what they're doing to build their own, profitable businesses, which is incredible. So we kind of got our fingers in a lot of things right now, and really just enjoying the designers that I'm working with, seeing what they're doing. It's incredible, you guys. I just thank you for being here. And those of you who are listening who have been part of Design Suite or are currently part of Design Suite or have enrolled in our fall 2024 semester at the university, I'm just so grateful to be a part of that with you guys. So thanks for being there. And if it's something you want to, if you aren't part of this and you want to come in and check out what we're up to, feel free to check out our next design boot camp or come apply at the university, kind of check out the website and see what we're doing. We have tuition up there and fees and all kinds of things so that you can learn more about how we're moving forward. All right, guys, everybody have an amazing day, and I'll see you soon.
Did you know you have access to more free design content, die cut files, and sewing patterns? Join our exclusive VIP group for free by going to designsweetcourses.com/free.